Next week marks 1 year since 4 people died while celebrating the South by Southwest Music Festival in downtown Austin. Police say Rashad Owens, this man, was driving drunk and mowed down a crowd on Red River. He is still in jail on capital murder charges. Now, just days away from this year's festival, police are set to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in overtime for officers to patrol downtown. We have also learned they're shifting other staff, like detectives, from their regular duties to fill the gaps and cover the festival instead.
So we're really forced to bring in our detectives, on regular time. And what happens with that is that has a really snowballing effect, because every year for 1, 2, 3 weeks you lose momentum on these cases.
This all comes as we have just learned the city plans to review the cost of security for future festivals. KXAN investigator Robert Maxwell takes a closer look at this financial struggle over your safety.
2 whiskeys for the regulars. Just a splash in a sea of liquor Danny Langley will pour. And the crowds of South by Southwest descend on the row of bars that make up 6th Street.
It's craziness. You have 2 weeks of every business in the world coming down here to try to promote.
This South by will be Danny's 15th. Time enough, he says, to cultivate a healthy relationship with police.
I've been down here for a lot of years. A lot of them are good friends of mine. They're always here. They're always around.
After 2014's tragedy, when a suspected drunk driver plowed through a thin metal street barricade, police helped revise safety plans. This year, actual police cars will serve as movable barricades. Each location will have an officer outside that vehicle. On top of that, 15 more officers will work traffic detail. Others will back up code enforcement teams. And again this year, inside the festival zone, you'll see extra officers, about 30 a day, to respond to calls. They can run the gamut from crowd control and public intoxication to aggravated assault and robbery.
It's no easy solution because of how massive an event it is and how resource heavy this event is.
Paying for those police officer resources can be done in 2 ways. The first is overtime. A lot of it. Last year, just during the 9 days of South by Southwest, APD racked up $470,000. This year, the department is forecasting $350,000 in paid OT.
We have to rely on the overtime. In fact, that would be to have the least impact on police services. To do it all on overtime would be ideal, but we're not at that point. So we have to balance.
The second half of that balancing act is to find other officers who can work.
You're juggling overtime and pulling officers and detectives off their regular assignments.
We are. We have to determine how many officers do we have available on regular duty that we can pull in off those support areas, and then we fill in the gaps with the overtime.
You're moving people from other areas. Is the city of Austin still safe?
Absolutely, absolutely. We, anytime we pull someone from their regular duty assignment, it's gonna have an impact. We can't avoid that.
Assistant Chief McElvain compares the South by impact to, say, a detective taking time off for a vacation or training. It's just one more thing, he says, for a city police department already coping with backlogs in burglary cases, for example. Police say they minimize the impact by rotating detectives onto festival duty only for a few days at a time. For Danny, the barkeep down on East 6th, he's glad the police are taking safety seriously, no matter the cost.
It's hectic, but they do a great job of keeping everybody safe.
One question remains: how to pay for policing festivals using less public money. KXAN reached out to South by organizers and city leaders, and we've learned that sometime within the next year, the city's Public Safety Commission will take up that very question in what's being called a serious review. In Austin, Robert Maxwell, KXAN investigates.
Well, for perspective, we decided to look at how other cities provide policing for major music and other festivals. Police in Toronto, Canada cancel all time off or vacations during the annual North by Northeast Festival. There's also an all-hands-on-deck approach and some use of paid overtime to augment patrol areas. We also talked about festival organizers there possibly footing the bill, but the city says no because the economic benefits outweigh the cost of overtime. Remember, if you have something you want us to investigate, email us at reportit@kxan.com.